Welcome back to the 2021 Virtual June Georgia State Council. Thank you for viewing. We encourage you to like and share. We have some great seminars and a panel discussion coming up this afternoon.
And the announcements are as follows. At 12 noon, musical selection, Brother William May, Bethesda Cathedral of Decatur, Georgia. Lunching in the Natural Word with Dr. Yvonne Butler of Jackson, Mississippi. Healthy food tips. And then at 1:00 p.m., Usher Board Ministry. Panel discussion, ushering in the new norm. And the president, the evangelist Bertha Darden. And at 2:00 p.m., Ministers' Wives and Ministers' Widows Auxiliary. President, Lady Marcia Ladd Guthrie. And the topic, Let's Make It Personal. It starts with us. And the guest is Dr. Sheila Austin of Faith Ministries, Montgomery, Alabama.
Hello, and thank you for joining us online here at the Georgia State Council's 2021 June session. If you would like to make a donation to this ministry, there are 4 ways to give. You can easily make your donation online via PayPal, credit or debit, and or Givelify by simply visiting www.gastatecouncil.com. Find the Give tab, select it, and from there you can make your online donation. The 4th option, if you choose, you can make a check payable to the Georgia State Council. Address the envelope to Elder Clifford Gordon, GSC General Treasurer, P.O. Box 6601, Douglasville, Georgia 30154. Again, we thank you for joining us, and God bless.
Now please allow us to introduce Dr. Yvonne Butler. Dr. Yvonne Sanders Butler created the first sugar-free zone in the United States in 1999. It became known as the Healthy Kids, Smart Kids program. Her company, Anovi Inc., introduced the highly acclaimed Healthy Kids, Smart Kids program, the sugar-free zone to Fulton County Public Systems in Atlanta, Georgia in August 2008 to 2010. It represented the largest number of schools, 19 in the nation, to implement the program with over 20,000 students. Her research indicated that healthy eating and exercise did improve student nutrition, physical activity, and self-esteem, while emphasizing academic performance and behavior.
She has been featured on ABC News, CNN News, Fox News, Tavis Smiley, and PBS. She has appeared on the Martha Stewart Show, 700 Club, TBN, and Lifetime TV, as well as regional and local programming regarding childhood obesity. She also authored 3 books, Naturally Yours and More Gourmet Desserts, Dessert Lover's Choice, A Healthy Approach to Desserts, and Healthy Kids, Smart Kids. She firmly believes that to be healthy, you have to live healthy. She's an avid advocate of the acquisition of higher learning. Butler has received several degrees. She received her BS degree in Mass Communications from Jackson State University, master's degree in counseling from University of West Georgia, specialist degree in administration and supervision from Jacksonville State University, and doctorate degree in educational leadership and Sarasota University. After 2 decades, Dr. Sanders Butler has continued to be one of the strongest advocates for childhood obesity in the United States. She currently resides in Madison, Mississippi with her husband, Floyd. They have 1 son, Floyd Denard, and 1 daughter, Andrea. At this time, let's receive Dr. Yvonne Butler.
everyone. I'm excited about being here today, and I would like to thank the Georgia State Council of PA for inviting me. First of all, to be here to speak on a subject that is so close and near to my heart, and that is childhood and adult obesity among the African American community and low-income communities. Did you know that African Americans are the most obese in the United States? We make up 44 million people in the United States, and 76% of us are overweight or obese. And this was before COVID. So in 2020, those numbers increased. And today, I would like to talk to you not just about the challenges, but about the solutions to fighting obesity and the health issues that it brings in our communities. First of all, COVID-19 caused a lot of damage. We lost a lot of family members, friends, and we lost a lot of jobs. And our economic status was impacted so much, but most of all, our health, which already was impacted even more. Our church leaders are on the front lines of our communities. And so today, I am so thankful for being here and for you all taking the initiative to make your health, your family's health, and the health of your congregation a priority. That means so much to so many people, and it is going to make such a difference. First of all, it must become an integral part of our education programs, because many people depend on churches for most of their information, even though they're operating differently now. One of the things I'd like to share with you is that I have had my own personal experience. I was overweight as a child and as an adult, and those health challenges almost led to me losing my life. And when you are 30 years old and you have had a certain diet for most of your life, it is very difficult to change. And what most people don't realize is that obesity is an addiction just like drugs or any other addiction. When you cannot stop eating a substance that is harmful to you, then that lets us know that we're addicted to it. And that is the way that I was. And it took me almost losing my life to actually save my life. And what I can share with you is that I had to have support from others, and that was really difficult for me. You know, I was an educator, I had several degrees, and the two people who became my lifeline were two women that probably had never gone to school other than had a high school education or a middle school education, but they were the people that supported me through this process. And so it will take more than your will, especially now with COVID. Most of us are working from home. We're not going outside. Some of us didn't go outside even before we weren't working from home. We're not going to visit the relatives. Many of our grandkids are not coming over. Our children aren't coming over. And we're spending a lot of time, me time. I think it's more than me time now. But many of us are binging on social media, Netflix, and we're also taking our favorite foods with us while we're binging. And when we are stressed, we tend to seek comfort foods. And you and I both know what comfort foods will do. If we take so many calories in, and we do not exert the energy to get those calories out, then those calories are going to end up being extra weight. And for many of us that are middle age, we are now seniors like I am, you can't take off 5 pounds, you can't take off 10 pounds like we used to take off. No matter what you do, it's like it's there to stay. And so today, what I want to share with you is things that you already know, but I think they are very simple tips to help us to move forward in our lives and become healthier. I, like many of you, was frightened by COVID. It certainly stressed me out. You know, I'm watching TV and how so many people are losing their lives, how whole families are losing their lives. Most of us are probably not in the towns or maybe even the states with our family members. And, you know, we talked to someone on Monday and on Wednesday, they're no longer there. So that is really, really reality. And we do know that more blacks have lost their lives from the COVID pandemic than any other race. And what I will say is because we're unhealthy, but all of it is not because we just decided to be unhealthy. It has to do with many things. It has to do with economics. It has to do with the environment that we live in. And it certainly has to do with social interactions and, you know, the foods that we eat. For many of us, we have a fast-paced lifestyle, and that has also challenged us as well because we don't take the time to exercise, or there's not a place for us to exercise, and many of us were working more than one job. And so, as I shared with you earlier, I felt that God had hit the pause button, and it's given us a time to reflect on our lives as we know it, and how we need to change it. And it's for some, yes, you know, I would love to, you know, be at church, but God knows all of our heart, and I feel that many of us are doing a Zoom Bible study. We're communicating with the members in our church, and we're doing parking lot ministry, and so that is also giving our leaders and some of our members a time to renew themselves, because I believe that people that are in the church, really working in the church, not complaining in the church, but working in the church, they give up a lot. They give up a lot of their lives, of their families' lives, and this is giving them some time, along with us, to reflect, to renew, to relaunch, and basically spend more time with finding out who we are. And even though we might not be able to see our families in person, many of us, especially if you haven't had your COVID vaccine, I feel that that's important. I think that we have sort of outpaced ourselves. Many of the pandemics that we're seeing, many of the deaths that's being caused in the black community, that our young men and women have lost their lives to gun violence, but some not to gun violence, but by people that were supposed to protect us. And when you live in fear 24 hours a day, that stress hormone itself causes us to seek comfort in one way or the other. So this is not new. It is new, but it's not new to our community, because we are the people that came out of slavery, indentured servants. This is a different pandemic. but it's also provided us an opportunity to see what's really going on into the world. You know, there were things going on, people being killed right in front of us. We never saw it. We were busy running, rushing to this meeting, to that meeting. But now we've had a time to focus on what's important. And what is important is not only our lives, but the future of our children. And just as our parents and grandparents stood on the front lines, fought for us, many people died for us so that we could be in this place, we must leave it better than what we found it. And one thing that I did, once I changed my lifestyle and became healthier, I, as a principal at a school, felt that children were already obese, overweight. They already had very poor diets. And it wasn't because they were in a low-income community. It was just social. And that's basically what people do when they celebrate, they eat. Most moms, they work, they don't have time to pack lunch. And if they do, it's basically what, you know, the children want. And so I just thought that that was a great opportunity to change other lives. And we set out, myself, a great staff of educators, leaders, parents, and even a small core of community decided that we were going to take a stand for children so that they could be healthier. And we did that. Was it easy? No, it wasn't. Because when you start anything, you're going to have a lot of pushback. We had a lot of pushback. We fought a lot of wars. But in many ways, we won. The children won. You know, we were able to change the foods that they ate that were processed. In cafeterias I grew up, I think we had some of the best cooks that there were. But you know that we love sugar. We love foods that are fat. I'm in the state of Mississippi, and this is the capital of catfish, by the way, the Delta of Mississippi. And you can't go anywhere where somebody's not frying some of the best catfish there is. But to everything, there's a limit. And that is what we have to do. Can you no longer eat the foods that you really love? Well, we can eat anything, but there has to be balance. We can't eat all cake or all fried food, but we never eat vegetables. And that is what we taught our children through the curriculum. We wrote a curriculum. They were a part of it. Browns Mill Elementary was the first school to actually have children's shop there in the school. And I'm saying, how cool is this? And most of them were males. We wrote 3 books. Many of the recipes the children came up with. And so this was 20 years ago, over 21 years ago. So just think, if those kids were 5 years old, how old are they now? And many of them still have healthy lifestyles. And they've gone into science and biochemistry, and they are still working to make health behavior and health better for others. And that is what we have to do. It doesn't matter. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. But through my company and the school, we had those people there to ensure that if we were going to wholesale a whole school's diet, that it had to be balanced. And so we can do those things now. We can do it in the church. Many of our churches have elaborate kitchens. We have places, you have these great spaces where you can have workshops. As a matter of fact, I've had an opportunity to be a part of Bethesda, who has done a lot of healthy workshops during different conferences that they've had. And I know that that's been for more than 10 years now. And so I applaud all of you that have gone in that direction. But now we have to step it up. We have to step it up in our homes, because we can't make everybody responsible for us. We have to take responsibility as adults and for the young people that are in our care or for our families. And so I'm going to tell you today that many people on yesterday, I went out to actually find some things that we were going to make for this surprise recipe that's very easy for you today. And I found that most of the stores were bare. There was no chicken, that most of the milk was gone, and it's all about people being excited about we're going to run out of gas. I don't think we're going to run out of gas, but many of the things that I needed, they weren't there. And so what people are doing now since COVID, and they shocked us into saying, if you don't buy up all of these items of food, you're not going to be able to cook, you're going to starve to death. So people are buying foods that will last a long time. And many of those foods, if we were in a place where you could never get out, that would be fine. But the first thing that we need to do, we have a lot of time, we're at home. Some of those things in your pantry we don't need anymore. Clean those pantries out. Look at doing your vegetable garden. I have one. You can do a box garden. You can even take flower pots and put them in, put different vegetables in there. We have to start somewhere. We have to get our sleep schedule back together. We have to start setting our alarms and getting up. If not at 6:30, 7:30, and please by 8 o'clock. Try to get up and at least walk in place, walk around outside. We have to start moving. Those are things that's so important. If we don't start doing those things, we're going to be burying more of our people. And I just know that that's not what we want. One thing, cook as much as you can. If you have a crock pot, I have two. You can put your food in there. You can put a chicken, put vegetables over it at night, and that morning it's going to be ready. You can also do the same thing for breakfast foods. I find that when we cook, we don't eat as much. Breakfast is still the most important meal of the day. It keeps us from overeating. It also allows us to balance our meals. If you go, most people say, I can't eat breakfast, it just makes me sick. But by the time you get to lunch, you are starved to death and you overeat. And you're not going to be able to burn those calories off. I will tell you that before I almost lost my life, I weighed right at 200 pounds. And what I can tell you is that I put on some weight in the last 2 years, but it wasn't from the pandemic. It was because I was in transition, moving, a lot of things going on in your life. I don't care who you are. You're going to have illnesses. You're going to have deaths. You still have children. You have grandchildren. Life is going to happen. But there are still things that we can do. We are a resilient people. We come from a resilient place in this earth. And just as we have stood and we are still standing, we are not going to allow obesity or any other disease take our lives. So, we're going to do the things that we need to do. We're going to pray about everything. But we know that we have to eat better. We have to get some exercise. And we have to get our proper sleep. Now, we have all kind of hours. I know because I have watched some series on Netflix until 3 o'clock in the morning. Really, I have. So, do you really think you're going to get up at 7 or 8? Sometimes I do, but there are many times that I don't. And any times your sleep is thrown off, that is going to cause you to gain weight. So I'm going to say, let's pray about it. Let's all pull together and make this happen for ourselves, for our community, so that we can be around a long time and we can tell our great-grandkids and great-great-grandchildren about this story. Thank you again so much for inviting me. It's been my pleasure as always, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Okay, as promised, I have a surprise recipe for you, and it's called Watergate salad, and it's in the Healthy Kids Smart Kids book, and it's very simple, very low calories, and it's easy to make. I have this clear bowl, and the first thing that I'm going to put in the bowl is I have Cool Whip. However, you can use Cool Whip to make the salad with. They also have a vegan Cool Whip, which is called Truett, I think. And you can get it at any of your grocery stores, and I put that in, and I make sure that it's all thawed out, because if it's not thawed out, that's going to be a problem. I can tell you that already. The next thing that I do is I have none other than pistachio by who other than Jello. And I put that in there, and everything, just stir it up, and it's going to turn sort of a minty green, really, really pretty. It smells really good. After that, I'm going to put pineapples in it. Everything is sort of like, if you ever made a dump cake, it's sort of like making a dump cake. Everything, you just throw it in there, and whatever you put in there, it works. You get dried coconut, unsweetened, because you don't want anything that you don't have to put in there that's sweet already. The whole purpose of this is to keep from putting extra sugar in your recipes. And there are a lot of recipes that we can make, still have our favorite desserts, and they're really, really good. The next thing we're going to do is that I have some walnuts. We're going to sprinkle about 1/2 cup in there, and we're going to stir it up really, really good. This is one of my favorite recipes. And if you just have to have a late recipe and you just have to have a dessert, well, you probably could have this. You could get away with that. Okay, so believe it or not, you can also, some people put cherries in theirs. I don't really like just fresh cherries, and the cherries that you get in the jar in the grocery store, it's all insert, and so that goes against everything that I believe in, because the first time I attempted to make this, it had corn syrup in it, and that is really an issue with many desserts. If you would start reading your packages, looking at different foods, they do not even have to have sugar in them to be sweet. So that is the reason why I did not put cherries. You also can substitute this with pecans. And so to show you the best part of this, now that we've made it, I'm going to bring it a little closer so that you can see it. But I actually made one, and I sort of topped it with pineapples. It has blueberries in it, and it's already chilled. So once you make it, you just put it in the refrigerator. This is also, if you're going to have a garden party or any type of party, bridal shower, this is a great, great dessert. It's not too sweet, doesn't have too many calories. It took approximately not even 3 minutes to make this. And so everything that you do, you want to make sure that it's not time consuming. If you don't have to have over four ingredients, that's even better. So this is the Watergate salad that we actually created more than 12 years ago at school as an alternative to some of the other desserts that we had. So it's been my pleasure making this dessert for you today. I look forward to all of the wonderful recipes that you're going to make. I think probably it'll be a good time for you to work on your own cookbook. I know that a long time ago, some churches used to do cookbooks, schools used to do cookbooks, but I am sure that your family has lots of great recipes that would make a wonderful family project or family and friend project. Again, this is Yvonne Sanders Butler, Cooking with Yvonne, the author of Dessert Lover's Choice, Healthy Kids, Smart Kids, and Naturally Yours Gourmet. Thank you all. Have a great evening and stay safe.